For what purpose does the gentleman, Mr. Garcia, seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an amendment at the desk. It's Garcia, number 1.
Thank you, sir. The clerk will distribute the amendment to all members. The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment to the amendment in the nature of a substitute to the fiscal year 2025 Budget Reconciliation Committee print providing for reconciliation pursuant to House Concurrent Resolution 14, offered by Mr. Garcia of California.
Without objection, the amendment is considered as read. I reserve a point of order. The gentleman, Mr. Garcia, is recognized for 5 minutes to speak on his amendment.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know that it's very clear from all of us that today's debate and discussion has made the House Republican agenda very clear. It's giveaways to billionaires, huge cuts to health care and Social Security, attacks on due process, and we should not lose sight, of course, of the other big crisis happening right now that Donald Trump, of course, is causing. Now, in the coming weeks, every American is going to be impacted by Donald Trump's insane and destructive trade and tariff agenda. Now, we already know that the Trump tariffs are just a sales tax that hits the poor and working people the hardest. I also represent one of the biggest ports in the U.S., the second largest container port in the country. And I'll tell you right now that goods simply aren't coming. Last week, trucking volumes coming out of L.A. collapsed to levels we only see during Christmas and New Year's. Trucking, which is the #1 job for non-college educated men, are seeing huge rollbacks. We could also see huge numbers of bankruptcies and layoffs in the coming months as the supply chain freezes up. Now, small businesses, we know, won't be able to buy the goods they sell. Prices will skyrocket for products, and others may simply vanish from the shelves. The uncertainty is just as dangerous, whether you're in shipping, in trucking, a small business, in the import or export business. All of these businesses are being impacted by the Trump tariffs that are nothing but pure chaos. Businesses and small businesses are going to be hit first, but our consumers will be next. These tariffs won't bring back jobs because no firm can invest in new factories. There is too much uncertainty, and businesses cannot plan long-term tariff rates, and they can't just import machines or construction materials. The job market is just too uncertain. These Trump tariffs won't bring us a better deal because China won't even pick up Donald Trump's calls. And he's beginning to look more desperate every single day. No one benefits from this insane and dangerous trade agenda. But there is maybe one group that appears to be benefiting, and that is connected insiders. We know that prior to these Trump tariff announcements and in between, there have been people, including members of Congress, maybe some on this committee, that have purchased between tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock. By the way, between April 8th and 9th, the day before President Trump caused his sweeping global tariff crisis. Now, we know that even the day before Trump's announcement, a certain member and maybe others dumped between $50,000 and $100,000 in Treasury bills, according to required public disclosures made to the House. Now, of course, there's no direct evidence today that anyone has been committed of doing any wrongdoing, and certainly we have no evidence that anyone had any advance notice of what Trump was doing and his decision to undo some of the tariffs. But we do know that the day before the announcement, Trump posted, and I quote, "This is a great time to buy," end quote. This should raise concerns to all of us. The public needs to trust us. Who knew about Trump's chaotic tariff announcements? Who invested in the stock market? And what insider information did they know? Now, we don't know specifics of the announcement, of course, and who was in the room and made these decisions and who purchased all the stock. We also don't know who's getting direct insider information on future announcements and future deals. So this amendment brings clarity, and it's quite simple. It will suspend the implementation of this toxic and dangerous legislation if we determine that the president or the head of any executive agency or any member or employee or contractor of DOJ is found to have committed insider trading related to the imposition of the tariffs. This is a common sense, good government measure to ensure trust and honesty and to bring a certainty to our tariff policy. It removes an incentive to fuel chaos in order to profit and will provide much needed certainty. I urge all members to support this amendment, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. I recognize myself for 5 minutes to speak on the amendment. I will be in opposition to the amendment. I'm also in opposition, along with all my colleagues, one would hope on both sides of the aisle, to insider trading that results in personal benefit for any Republican or any Democrat. Today's legislation is not the venue for that. I'm going to oppose the amendment, but again, I offer to myself and my colleagues in my office at the avail of my Democrat colleagues to work towards legislation and investigation into any illicit or illegal insider trading that may be found to exist, including within this body, but so, of course, to include the executive branch. So I'm in opposition to the amendment. I yield the balance of my time. Does anyone else seek recognition? Ms. Luna of Florida is recognized for 5 minutes to speak on the amendment.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Higgins. First of all, I obviously am supporting what the Oversight Republican Committee is doing here for this entire process, but I did want to speak to Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia, please let it be known, if you would like to do a discharge petition banning insider trading for members of Congress, I will happily support that. I think that it is disgusting that people do that. I share Mr. Higgins' sentiment, and I think that a majority of the American people want that. So I'd be happy to support that. We can get the ball rolling. Discharge petition away on that, please. Thank you.
Well, if I can respond to that, I appreciate that, Representative Luna. I agree with you.
Does the gentlelady yield her time? Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Representative Luna. I also agree with you. There should be absolutely no insider trading in Congress. In fact, I believe there should be no stock trading of individual stocks by members of Congress, period. I support legislation to do so, and so I'm looking forward to a conversation to move this issue forward. So thank you.
The gentleman yields. Do any other members wish to speak on this amendment? Hearing none, the question is on the amendment